The views and opinions expressed on America's Workforce Union podcast and its digital media channels are solely those of the speakers and do not necessarily represent the views and opinions of the producers or sponsors.
Welcome to the America's Workforce Radio Podcast, the flagship production of the American Workers Radio and Podcast Network, where organized labor and its never-ending fight to protect the rights of the American worker come first. Now, presented by LIUNA, Laborers International Union of North America. Here's your host, Ed Flash Ferens.
Imagine being admitted to a hospital. Instead of a room, they put you in a tent. That's right. And it's happening in California, where nurses today say enough is enough. On the program today, the Ohio AFL-CIO and the United Labor Agency. Welcome to the Wednesday, May 6th edition of America's Workforce, where we're available on at least 5 platforms, including YouTube, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Pandora. So many different ways to access this show, America's Workforce. Tim Burga will be our first of 2 guests on the show today. He's a longtime supporter of the show. On behalf of the Ohio AFL-CIO, when he serves as president. Yesterday, primary day in Ohio, like a lot of states around the country, and he's going to run down some of the results. The good news is this. Out of 160 candidates that were endorsed by labor, and many of them union members, 160 of them, 3/4, 75% won their races. That's pretty darn good. We'll run down a few. One of them involves an ironworker, Brian Poindexter, who's running for Congress to unseat Max Miller in November. And I know he got some outside money here, but great guy. Ironworkers Local 17, part of the Great Lakes District Council, one of the many supporters here of America's Workforce. We appreciate that. All state offices, executive offices, from the governor to treasurer and all that, the secretary of state, all those were open. He's going to run down that as well. And we'll see what happens in November, because all they need is, I believe, 5 seats. If they can get 5 seats on the progressive Democratic side, the supermajority will change like that. Dave Meganhart, on behalf of the United Labor Agency, another sponsor here of America's Workforce, will be joining us talking about a recent survey of their services. And they're doing a pretty good job. This is an agency that connects jobs with people. Most of the people displaced from their jobs started years ago, back, 1971, and they became a workforce development agency. So if you don't have the skills, they'll find you those skills so you can get the job to meet your needs. That's what it's all about. We'll cover that. Also, an in-demand job fair that's happening today in Northeastern Ohio. And a downtown office is moving. We'll get into all of that and speculate on the future of the job market, especially in Northeastern Ohio, with Dave Meganhart. ulagency.org is the website you want to go to. Now, a brief look into the world of labor. This segment brought to you by Boyd Watterson Asset Management. You can find more at boydwatterson.com. I swear to God, I can't believe this story here that I'm going to read to you. It's out of California, where registered nurses, residents, interns, and other healthcare workers at the Ronald Reagan UCLA Medical Center, this is in Los Angeles, held a rally today outside the U.S. Board of Regents meeting to highlight their patient safety concerns. This was all organized by the California Nurses Association. Get this. Patients are being cared for in tents and hallways in the Westwood Emergency Department due to short staffing. That's right, tents. Nurses, residents, interns, and other healthcare workers say these are not appropriate treatment areas, and they undermine the quality of patient care and impede the ability to discuss private medical issues. Got a comment here from Ellie Savoa, an RN. She works in the emergency department. Our Westwood Emergency Department Boarding Crisis Coalition, which includes nurses and other healthcare workers, delivered a petition with nearly 1,000 signatures last month demanding that the unsafe conditions in the emergency department be addressed and corrected immediately. Nurses and resident physicians are banding together and using our collective union power to advocate for the safety of our parents. The nurses at UCLA, again, are represented by the California Nurses Association, which is affiliated with National Nurses United. The residents and interns, well, they're represented by the Committee of Intern and Residents of the Service Employee International Union. That's CIR-SEIU. Healthcare workers, including pharmacists and social workers. Well, they are represented by university professional and technical employees, and they're part of the CWA, Communication Workers of America. That would be 9119. Caring for patients in tents and hallway beds is not medicine, says Dr. Diana Dayal, an MD and resident physician. Dr. Diana goes on to say these makeshift spaces strip patients of dignity, compromise privacy, and make it harder for us to deliver the safe, evidence-based care that every patient deserves. We're speaking out because this is a patient safety issue, plain and simple. UCLA must invest in staffing, capacity, and systems that allow us to treat patients in real clinical settings. That's why the nurses, union nurses, are rallying today in Los Angeles, California. They cannot let this continue because if it does continue, guess what? It's going to happen in every hospital in this country. It's so sad what's going on in healthcare today. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Tim Burga on behalf of the Ohio AFL-CIO.
You're listening to America's Workforce with Ed Flash Ferens.
It takes LIUNA to keep America running. Over 70,000 public employees are part of LIUNA, the Laborers International Union of North America, delivering critical services such as healthcare and emergency response, as well as maintaining roads and sanitation systems. Even the National Postal Mail Handlers Union, representing over 47,000 U.S. postal workers, is affiliated with LIUNA. Find out what it takes for LIUNA to keep America running at liuna.org. That's LIUNA.org.
There is unity and strength for workers.
We are the USW.
We are the USW.
The United Steelworkers.
The largest industrial union in North America.
We represent 850,000 members in the U.S., Canada, and the Caribbean.
We work in metals,
rubber,
chemicals,
paper,
oil refining,
atomic energy, and the service sector.
We are steelworkers, standing strong and fighting for what's right.
America's Workforce is brought to you in part by the Communication Workers of America. You can find more at cwa-union.org. America's Workforce is brought to you in part by the United Steelworkers. You can find more at usw.org. This segment of the show is brought to you by the Brotherhood of Maintenance of Way Employees Division of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters. For more information, please visit bmwe.org. America's Workforce is brought to you in part by the International Federation of Professional and Technical Engineers. You can find more at ifpte.org. Blue Cross and Blue Shield companies formed out of a need to provide affordable health care to teachers, loggers, and miners. We are now celebrating the 60th anniversary of the Blues, developing the National Labor Office to strengthen its commitment to organized labor. Blue Cross Blue Shield's National Labor Office remains focused on America's workers, advocating for affordable and equitable health care, partnering with strategic alliances to provide industry-leading products and services, and proudly serving more than 18 million unionized workers, retirees, and their families. Working hard for America's working families, for the health of America. Learn more by following them at Blue Labor on LinkedIn and X, formerly known as Twitter.
Now, back to America's Workforce. Here's Ed Flash Ferens.
And remember, you can check us out on Facebook or follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter. That would be AWF Union Podcast. I like that word union, AWF Union Podcast. Let's go to Central Ohio. Welcome a longtime contributor on behalf of America's Workforce. And yesterday, primary day in a lot of states. That includes the state of Ohio. Tim Burga is president of the Ohio AFL-CIO, and he's going to run down, some good news here for union-endorsed candidates and also candidates that belong to a union who want to seek political office. And we've got some wins. Tim, welcome back to America's Workforce. I know you had a long night last night. Why don't you start off with some of the statewide races? We'll work from there and talk to me about those the candidates on the union side. Go ahead, my brother.
Oh, thanks for having me, Flash. Yeah, so the field is set now for the general election. You have all 5 state executive offices that are up for grabs, all open seats. However, 3 incumbent Republicans in executive office are just playing musical chairs and running for different offices. But at the top of the ticket, it'll be Amy Acton, the labor-endorsed candidate for governor, versus Vivek Ramaswamy. So that'll be the headline. And then it'll be Sherrod Brown running for U.S. Senate against John Husted. So those will be the 2 races at the very top that get all the attention. But there's so many important things in addition to those throughout the ballot. The Ohio Labor Federation and our local labor councils combined, we endorsed roughly 160 candidates and issues on the primary ballot yesterday, and about 3/4 of those were successful. A lot of union members running that we supported, some big wins there. Davita Russell, House District 18 won. Nicole Sigurdsson, House District 19 won. Brian Poindexter running for Congress in CD7, he won. Those are some of the real highlights of the union members and backed by the AFL-CIO that ran and won. All in all, a good night for labor. There's 99 House seats up for grabs in the general election. The Democrats are looking to pick up 5 seats to take away the Republican supermajority that's been running wild and drunk on power now for quite some time. 17 of the 33 state Senate seats are up. Again, the field is set. So we've got 6 months now to sort all this out. And the Ohio AFL-CIO Executive Board takes our job of endorsing candidates very seriously. We're in the business of making these endorsements to get policies right for working people. We're off and running.
What about turnout? When it comes to primaries, obviously far cry from the general elections, the one in November coming up. How would you assess the turnout yesterday, Tim?
For a primary, I would assess it a little bit above average. There were a lot of races that really weren't all that competitive. Some open, some non-contested sort of seats. So all in all, I would rate it a little above a normal primary.
Well, I am really happy for Brian Poindexter. Now, Brian, I did this show for 5 years at Ironworkers Local 17 in northeastern Ohio, and I became very close to Brian. I'll tell you, he ran a great campaign. I know he got some outside money on that one because I saw a lot of commercials, especially in northeastern Ohio. The other question I have here, the seats moved around a little bit with redistricting, and I'm so glad I had the opportunity to vote for him. Previously, it was a little bit different, the map. Was there any confusion? Do you hear anything about how things change here with the districts this time around?
Well, in Ohio, if you're paying attention, every election is confusing because the lawmakers are drawing maps based on how they feel that week. And it's up and it's down and the courts are involved. So, yeah, fair amount of confusion all the way around. But at the end of the day, we ask our union members and families to take the responsibility of voting very seriously, look at the record. We ask the local unions to share the record on these candidates to their members and families and make informed decisions. And that's what we'll be doing over the next 6 months.
Now, Sherrod Brown's going to make a go at it after losing to Bernie Moreno 2 years ago. And I'm already hearing a whole lot of money is going to be poured into that one. That's already attracting national attention. So, and I've thrown this question at you so many times, Tim. Money is good. There's no doubt about that. It could change. It could change an election. But one thing about labor, the boots on the ground. How do you see that shaping up? And obviously, Sherrod's going to get some outside money as well. What do you think?
Elections are so different now. After Citizens United, that terrible decision by the U.S. Supreme Court, we've got more money in politics than ever before. Such a corrupting influence, money in politics, but you got to play by the rules. But the two worst things in governance, in my opinion, are the influx of money in politics and gerrymandered districts. But this is what we have. We'll work through it. We'll fight through it. We're hopeful that Congress, once and for all, will try to take up gerrymandering and create these independent commissions. Just look what's going on. Trump started off this war of redistricting pre-census when he, got these Republican states to get involved in it. So now it's just a race to the bottom on gerrymandering. And I don't blame the Democrats for doing it. You got to try to keep pace with what the others are doing. So we've got to sort all this out. This is probably the most important election this coming November in my lifetime to make sense of, what's happening in this country, and that there's going to be a reckoning that says the rule of law matters, that we need checks and balances, and we need to have fairness in government, and we need to actually have policies that help working people get ahead. And we're not seeing that right now. So that's the reckoning. The decision's in the hands of the voters, how that reckoning will turn out. And I'm optimistic there's going to be big change coming this November.
Well, you have to be. Well said, my man. Well said. Tim Burga, president of the Ohio AFL-CIO. You take care, my friend. We'll talk to you next month, okay?
This is America's Workforce. More shows available at awfradio.com.
It takes LIUNA to power North America with affordable energy. The men and women of LIUNA, the Laborers International Union of North America, have the skills needed to build and maintain oil, natural gas, nuclear, solar, and wind projects that are shaping America's energy future. From new energy tech to retrofitted facilities, LIUNA members do it all. Find out what it takes to be powered by LIUNA at liuna.org. That's LIUNA.org.
America's Workforce is sponsored in part by Boyd Watterson Asset Management, LLC. Find out more about our investment solutions tailored to meet the needs of Taft-Hartley funds at boydwatterson.com.
America's Workforce is brought to you in part by the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, where you can find more at teamster.org. America's Workforce is brought to you in part by the Ironworkers. You can find more at ironworkers.org. America's Workforce is brought to you in part by the Heat and Frost Insulators Labor Management Cooperative Trust. Find out more at insulators.org/LMCT.
Unions are organizing all across America. New units are being formed and existing units are getting stronger. It's never been a more important or a more challenging job. Broadstripes is here to help you do it. Broadstripes is an all-in-one communication and organizing tool. Unions of all sizes rely on us, from nationals like LIUNA and Unite Here to locals throughout the U.S. and Canada. With Broadstripes, you can text and email your members, create digital membership cards, identify leaders, and build the power you need to win. Check us out at broadstripes.com.
The Ironworkers Great Lakes District Council, consisting of 8 ironworker local unions in West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Michigan. We build the skylines and bridges along the Great Lakes. With more work than ever before, the Great Lakes District Council is actively searching out the next great ironworker, whether it's building the next Intel plant or constructing a bridge to safely connect our great cities along the lake. So join the Ironworkers Great Lakes District Council today. Find out how and learn more about the council by visiting iwdistrictcouncil.com. America's Workforce is presented by the Laborers International Union of North America. Feel the power right now at liuna.org.
Now, back to Ed Flash Ferens with America's Workforce.
And don't forget, you can check us out on Facebook or follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter. That would be AWF Union Podcast, AWF Union Podcast. Every other month, we check in with Dave Meganhart. Dave is Executive Director of the United Labor Agency, one of the many proud sponsors of America's Workforce, ulagency.org. They connect people with jobs, good jobs, more often than not, union jobs. Dave, welcome back to the show. I understand that you did some surveying of your services, and let's start off with some good news. I guess everybody seems to like what the ULA is doing. Talk to me about it.
Yeah. So, and people that come in, and by the way, it's good to be back. Yeah, when people that come into our center, we do an extensive surveying because we want to know what their experience is, right, and how we can be better, and if we're on target about what they need. So over the past 9 months, we've collected 4,000 surveys. So it's a really good sample of people that are coming in. Of those 4,000 surveys, we have an approval rating of 96%. What that tells me is there's a lot of people that would come in to us. They're maybe freshly on unemployment. Maybe they've had some kind of disruption in their work life. They're not at their best. They're oftentimes under stress emotionally and financially. And so it's really important to me and to our agency that we treat people with dignity and respect and meet them where they are and lead them through this journey. So that's why they're journeying to reemployment or to finding their new opportunities. So that's why it's really important to me that we do surveying and that we understand how our staff are doing and how people are reacting to us. So that was really great news. It's not surprising to me because I know I have a great staff and I know that they do, they bring it every day and they do all this really great work with people, but it's good to have it validated, right? And to see even the comments that people make, singling the specific staff out about the specific help they had and how they went the extra mile is really great stuff.
What about the job market right now? I've noticed there's some companies, big companies, and a lot of this, deals with technology and artificial intelligence. I'm just wondering, you speak to what's happening in northeastern Ohio and the surrounding area. What do you see happening right now? And I'm sure workers are concerned about it all.
Yeah, I mean, they're concerned. I think we're certainly concerned because it's such a mixed bag and there's so many conflicting messages. While there is demand, at the same time, we feel that some companies are holding back on hiring because they are trying to figure out AI solutions or what they can push into this technology to reduce headcount. They won't necessarily say that publicly, but that's certainly what is going on. And so I think that we try to keep a really close eye on it. Let's take healthcare, for example. There's a lot of opportunity in healthcare, but if you're starting out at the sort of the entry level, trying to get onto a full-time rotation that pays well is problematic, right? It's very hard to, if you're an SDNA, a nurse aide, home, that we want to try to promote these career ladders where somebody says, okay, well, you can get this credential, get into the industry, then you keep working your way up, gain skills, and you move up. Mm-hmm. But it's really hard to do that. And people are you can see through their pattern that they have to piece together. It's almost like gig work. They have multiple part-time jobs. They have them all over the city. They stay a month here, 2 months there. Instead of a career pathway, maybe it's a wage pathway, right? Or a shift pathway where they're trying to find these better environments. And so not only with AI, but with that sort of gig mentality and the retreat from a company wanting to provide benefits. So they try to keep all of the hours low enough so they don't have to provide benefits.
Right.
We see that certainly. So what we try to do is we try to work with employers they used to be called high road employers, but now it's a good jobs initiative. Define what is a good job and then really try to promote the employers that are providing those kind of workplaces and those kind of jobs and really support them. We don't want to put people into bad situations and we don't want to put people, where they can't get ahead or they're moved around and they struggle just to get basic hours. That's not what we want. Yeah. So I know it's a long-winded answer because the job market is scrambled. I mean, if not only with that and with the threat of inflation and I don't know if companies know what to do right now.
Yeah. The healthcare thing is huge, especially since the subsidies went away for the Affordable Care Act. And you see a lot of these folks, to your point, there's people working multiple jobs, but they don't have the healthcare benefits because they're not full-time jobs. So Yeah,
Right,
it's
right.
pretty scary. It's pretty scary. That being said, Dave, you had a job fair today outside of the Cleveland area, and I know you and I have talked many times about these job fairs. This was an in-demand job fair. Talk to me about that.
Right. It was a Lake County. It was the Lake County Fairgrounds. Today it was from 9 to 12. And we've worked in Lake County for over a decade, and we do all the good work that we do in Cuyahoga County and Lake County. The idea behind it was get all those employers that I just talked about, get them in a room, try to get people in front of them and do your typical job fair stuff. We had a great turnout. We had a great night. I think we had over 40 employers, Lake County employers that were looking for work. It was in manufacturing, it was in healthcare, it was in IT, again, all of the sectors that are in demand and kind of driving the workforce. And, what we hope to do is it's almost like a friend raiser too. So, you engage with the job seekers. Maybe they don't get a job that day, but once they've engaged with us, if they have a good experience, they'll continue to work with us and we'll continue to get them in front of employers. And the same thing with the employers. Maybe they don't have a match that day. Maybe somebody didn't come through the door, but they like what we did, they like how we served them. They thought it was a good experience for them. And then we can afterwards. So now for the next month, we'll be following up with them, not only seeing who it was that they met, because we have a lot of people who that are on our caseloads that don't go to the job fair, right? So we can do direct recruiting for them. We can send them out. And so that's what we do. So I think it does two things. One, it creates some energy, keeps job seekers kind of focused. It kind of keeps employers attached to us. They can kind of feel like they're part of the community as well. And it gives us work, for the next month where the match continues. The job fair, the event is one thing, but then the job fair kind of continues as we work through all those people and employers.
One of the popular offices that the ULA has is Ohio Means Jobs, and that's the downtown office. I understand that's moving. Yes. Why is it moving?
You might have heard of a little project called the Interbelt rebuild is coming through. ODOT informed us that they were going to take the parking lot of the building. And so a building without a parking lot is not very usable.
Not good at all.
Not good. The Ohio Means Job Center is going to move to Midtown, where the Dave's supermarket is, Midtown on like 61st. There's a building that's right next door that used to house the headquarters for Eagle Foods, makers of Hamburger Helper, by the way. And it's a beautiful spot. They rehabbed it beautifully. It's gonna work great. It has ample parking. There's not going to be a freeway that's going to come through. That's a July 1 move. So, we're trying to get the word out as much as possible because when we've been through these moves before, it takes a while for people to find us. They don't know. And so this is like the first announcement that's going to happen. And yes, we're excited about the move because it's a new facility and it's going to be just awesome. It's going to be an awesome new facility, but we have to make sure that people can find us. It's even, it's good, has actually pretty good highway access too, because you just can come down 55th from both the west side and east side and connect through Opportunity Corridor up to 55th and all that. So it's not deep into like Midtown by the clinic. So it's a good spot.
And when do you see that being completed?
Yeah, that's going to be July 1. We're going to be in that building July 1. So construction, there was a minor construction that had to happen, reconfiguring some of the layout. But yeah, we're on target for it for sure.
Okay, let's talk about a fundraiser. Obviously, things have changed when it comes to finances for the ULA, and I guess you're doing okay. I hope you're doing okay, but it's always good to try to boost it a little bit. I see you got a little golf outing coming up.
Yeah, we do this annual golf outing. It's going to be on June 25th at Pine Hills Golf Club out in Hinckley, Ohio. Lovely course. It's a great, beautiful public course, challenging with the hills and all that. We love it because we spend a day with our friends. We celebrate ULA. We make a little money to do some of the things that we are just talking about, helping people find jobs and helping them with career advice and doing mental health counseling. All that money goes directly to, of course, to all those aspects of our mission. And we also have a great time. We have a great time out there, and it's, like I said, a beautiful course. And even if you don't golf, you can give a donation. That's on our website and a link to how to donate. But we would more like to have. Even if you're a bad golfer, it really doesn't matter. Once a pretty good golfer and now I'm a terrible golfer, it doesn't matter. Who cares? So I get caught there.
Wait a minute. You're supposed to start out as a bad golfer and become a good golfer.
No, I totally regressed. I am like a maniac out there. I don't even know. I don't want to ever see any film of my swing. It's not pretty. So.
Okay. Well, that could be a good YouTube video there.
We're probably good. We're probably good. Like, what sport do you think he's playing?
Oh, my God. Dave Meganhart, on behalf of the United Labor Agency, ulagency.org. You mentioned the website. That's where you want to go. At least try to make a donation if you're not a good golfer, just like Dave. ulagency.org. You take care. We'll talk to you in 2 months. Okay, brother?
Great. Good seeing you.
And that'll be it for another edition of America's Workforce. Tomorrow on Trades Day, the head of the New York City building trades. Until then, all of you have a safe and wonderful day.
That concludes another episode of the America's Workforce Radio Podcast. Thanks for listening, and be sure to subscribe so you never miss a show. America's Workforce is a production of Labor Tools and BMA Media Group. Find out more information online at labortools.com.